flew to Ohio to a counseling center that deals specifically with sex-related issues that people have. And so we went through a lot of assessment, which was really good because the point was to find what they called triggers. What was it in my life that triggered temptation? And it was amazing to break down and to find that out, because it could be absolutely things that you would never think would be a trigger in your life. And we discovered, for me, that successes were triggers. That whenever I would have a huge attendance night in our youth group, whenever we would have an incredibly powerful meeting or something that would be great that would happen in our ministry, that off that kind of spiritual high, I let my guard down. And as we look back and found patterns, a lot of times the triggers in my life were simply that. When things were going great, I would let my guard down. And so we began a process of finding out what is it that moves in this direction, so that you can set up guidelines before you get to that place. So we did that. We met with a counselor for a year, as far as a weekly meeting, and we met with our pastor. It also involved standing before our church, and I stood up in front of the church on a few different occasions and just confessed to them what I had done, asked for their forgiveness, asked for them to walk with us through the process. I stood up in front of our youth group, which was incredibly difficult because we had teenagers that they just loved us because we were their youth pastors, and they didn't understand all of the dynamics that were involved. They didn't understand all of the consequences that had to be involved. And so I stood up and told them that what was happening to me, although it may not look good, it was a consequence of my own actions. It wasn't anything else that anyone had done. It was because of choices that I made and continued to make, and that what was happening now was actually the grace of God, rescuing me from a position that I had put myself in. And so I did the best that I could do to submit to those that were in authority over me and walk through the process of healing. And through that, allowed accountability to be in my life, which it's funny, but I guess it's a lot easier when everybody knows what's going on with you anyway. It's when the secrecy is removed, there's just a lot of healing that can be done. And that's one of the things with pornography, not even in society, but so much in the church culture, is that it's so taboo. The statistics are out there. Everyone knows that there are far more people that are struggling with pornography than what will ever admit to it. And yet there's still some idea within the church world that we can't talk about it, that we can't say anything, that it's this evil and heinous thing, which it is because it's sin, but it's a reality that must be dealt with. And so there was something incredibly liberating about people knowing exactly what the struggle was. It allowed me to be honest, probably for the very first time, that it wasn't just an issue, it was an addiction to sin, and that it could only be dealt with through the grace of God. Accountability, all of those things, yes, are a huge part of it. But the thing was that bringing sin into light and letting Jesus deal with the sin is the strength and where the real victory is found. And so we did that, and until we got to a place of restoration, and now are operating in ministry, and God is blessing, and we're having a wonderful time.